On the night of November 22nd, 1987, something chilling unfolded on the airwaves of Chicago. Homes were filled with the familiar hum of television sets, broadcasting their usual late-night programs. But then, without warning, the screens flickered. The static buzzed, and an unfamiliar, grotesque figure emerged. A man wearing a rubbery Max Headroom mask, his eerie grin stretched wide, his head twitching unnaturally. There was no warning, no explanation, just chaos. The hijacking lasted only moments, but for those who witnessed it, it felt like an eternity. What followed was a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. A digital ghost story, a horrifying intrusion into the world of the living. But what if I told you this wasn't just a prank? What if there was something far more sinister lurking behind the mask? It all began at 9:14 p.m. during the WGN-TV evening news. Just as sportscaster Dan Roan was summarizing the day's highlights, the screen abruptly cut to black. Then, with a jarring burst of static, it returned. But this was no normal broadcast. The figure in the Max Headroom mask stared, shifting unnaturally, as if controlled by an unseen force. Behind him, a metallic sheet swayed eerily, creating a hypnotic, distorted effect. There was no sound, only silence and the unsettling flicker of the screen. Then, just as suddenly as it appeared, the signal was restored. The station's engineers were baffled. Someone had overridden their signal, something previously thought impossible. But that was only the beginning. Just 2 hours later, at 11:15 p.m. during a broadcast of Doctor Who on WTTW, it happened again. This time the hijackers had perfected their craft. The Max Headroom figure returned, his voice distorted, garbled, nonsensical. He laughed in a way that didn't sound human. He muttered cryptic phrases. "This is for all the greatest world newspaper nerds." His words were erratic, disjointed, like an otherworldly entity attempting to communicate. Then came the truly disturbing part. The figure turned, bending his masked face close to the camera, as if he could see through the screen into the homes of the terrified viewers. The images grew more bizarre. He moaned, laughed maniacally. And then, a hand appeared. A gloved hand. It held a fly swatter, slapping against the masked head in a disturbing display. Then, as abruptly as it began, the screen went black again. Silence. The hijacker was gone. Investigators scrambled to trace the source, but no evidence was found. The location of the transmission? A complete mystery. The perpetrators? Never identified. The methods? Technologically impossible for amateurs of that era, or so they thought. To this day, no one has stepped forward to claim responsibility. The Max Headroom hijacking remains one of the most infamous broadcast intrusions in history, a case that lingers in the shadows of digital folklore. But some claim there's more to the story. Rumors surfaced of a group obsessed with breaking into frequencies, using signals as a gateway to something beyond human understanding. A few have whispered about lost footage too horrifying to ever be aired again. They say, if you watch closely, the Max Headroom figure doesn't just move, he reacts. Not just to the camera, but to the people watching. Some believe that if you stare too long at the hijacked footage, you might notice something strange. A shift in his posture, his gaze locking onto yours. And if you listen closely to the garbled voices, You might hear your own name, but that's just a myth, right? Or is it?